What happens when a bishop says that many church leaders no longer believe what the church has always taught? That is exactly the warning recently given by Bishop Athanasius Schneider, and his comments are already generating serious discussion among Catholics around the world. During an interview with Catholic writer and podcaster Matt Gaspers, Bishop Schneider made a striking claim. He said that a significant number of high-ranking clergy have lost the Catholic faith. According to Schneider, this is not simply a matter of disagreement over small issues. He believes some church leaders have spent decades trying to reshape Catholicism itself. In his words, they want a different kind of church. A church that is partly Protestant. A church that is more focused on fitting into modern culture. And a church that is less attached to traditional Catholic teaching. Schneider believes this trend has been developing for more than 60 years. That timeline points back to the period following the Second Vatican Council, which ended in 1965. For many Catholics, Vatican II remains one of the most important events in modern church history. Supporters see it as a renewal of the church's mission in the modern world. Critics, however, argue that some of its documents contain language that can be interpreted in different ways. Schneider belongs to those who have expressed concerns about what happened after the council. He says the real issue is not always easy to identify by looking at individual clergy members. Instead, he suggests looking at the results. And what does he see? According to Schneider, the fruits have been confusion. Confusion about doctrine, confusion about morality, and confusion about the liturgy. He argues that many Catholics today are uncertain about teachings that were once presented clearly. For him, this widespread uncertainty is evidence that something has gone wrong. The conversation also turned to the Society of St. Pius X, commonly known as the SSPX. The SSPX has long been involved in discussions with Rome about its status within the Church. One major point of disagreement is the Second Vatican Council. Schneider discussed why Church authorities continue to insist that the SSPX accept Vatican II as a condition for full recognition. He noted that similar demands were made decades ago to Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, the founder of the SSPX. According to Schneider, some passages of Vatican II are difficult to reconcile with previous church teaching. Because of that, he believes asking Catholics to simply declare that everything fits perfectly together can be problematic. He even described such a request as forcing people into what he called mental acrobatics. In other words, he believes some tensions remain unresolved. Schneider also pointed to recent developments in the Church. He argued that both Pope Francis and Pope Leo have presented certain controversial ideas as developments flowing from Vatican II. In Schneider's view, some of these developments have increased confusion rather than bringing clarity. His criticism ultimately returns to one central question. Can ambiguity come from the Holy Spirit? For Schneider, the answer is no. He argues that truth should be clear, faith should be clear, and church teaching should be clear. If confusion becomes widespread, he believes Catholics have a responsibility to ask why. Near the end of the interview, Schneider made one of his most memorable statements. No one gives his life for something that is ambiguous. For him, that sentence summarizes the entire problem. People are willing to sacrifice for truth. People are willing to defend convictions they clearly understand. But uncertainty does not inspire commitment. Whether one agrees with Bishop Schneider or not, his comments touch on some of the biggest debates facing the Catholic Church today. Questions about tradition, questions about Vatican II, questions about authority, and questions about the future direction of Catholicism. Those debates have been ongoing for decades. And based on Schneider's remarks, they are far from over.